going to take the 27 and you're going to write it off to the side and you're going to kind of put this bar. All right? It's going to be prime factorization. It's a version of it. All right? Now, every time we're doing this, we're going to take that number that is not a perfect square, and I want you to start dividing it by a prime number. I know 27 is divisible by a couple of things, but I only want you picking prime numbers, and better yet, start with the smallest prime number. What is the smallest prime number that will divide evenly into that?
1.
Does 2 go into 27? No.
3.
All right. So out here on this side, you're going to place the number that you're dividing into this number. So what is 27 divided by 3? 9. And you're going to place the answer right below. Stick with me. Stick with me. We're going to repeat this process until we get to 1. So now I look at that new number 9. Again, you're only picking primes. What will divide evenly into it?
3.
What is 9 divided by 3?
3.
So that goes here. You're not at 1. 1. All right. Once you get here, you're done. You have now broken this down, and 27 can be renamed as 3 times 3 times 3. All right, so you've broken this down into a product of prime numbers. Now, because I'm asking you to find the square root and put this in what's called, again, simple radical form, your goal is to take out anything that's a perfect square. Well, in order to be a perfect square, that means one of these numbers has to be used how many times? Twice. Perfect square means used twice. So I've got these two, and it doesn't matter which two you pick. Can't you write that as 3 squared? All right. So here's what you're going to do. This is where it gets fun. I'm going to rewrite this. Hold on. First, take a moment and put this on your paper. So all I did was rename 27. So someone can say, hey, the answer is 27. Somebody else can say 3 squared times 3. You are both correct. Now, look at the second property that's on your list of notes that says properties of radicals. That's the one we're going to go to now. And that second property says when I'm multiplying something underneath the radical together, I'm allowed to split it up into 2 separate radicals. So that's what I'm going to do. So I broke this down first into a product of primes. I found any groups of 2. And then I rewrote it underneath the square root. And now I can break it apart into 2 separate square roots. Notice there's still a multiplication between them. Now we go to property number 1. Squares and square roots are inverses of each other. This right here becomes what? You have a number that you're squaring, and then you took the square root of it.
It's 3.
It's 3.
Oh, okay. So that's the answer?
Nope. Don't forget the square root of 3 that's still out here that you can't do anything with. Your answer is 3 square roots of 3. All right, so now you've got 24. Is 24 one of the numbers on your list you have to have memorized? No. So again, off to the side I go. I put the 24. And hey, it's an even number. Every even number is divisible by? 2. Your goal is, again, to pick a prime number. You're trying to create prime factorization. If I'm writing and speaking, you should be listening and writing. So if it is even, I'm going to go with 2. And I like 2, and everybody should enjoy the value of 2 because you're just now taking the half of everything. Half of 24. 12. If I get another even, I'm just going to stick with the 2's until I can't use them anymore. Half of 12? 6. Half of 6? 3. Can I divide by 2 anymore?
No.
Now what do I divide by? 3.
So you get 1.
So now you get 1. All right.
Now you do 2 to the third.
Now hold up. I don't disagree with you. 2 to the third times 3 is 24. But this is a perfect square. So I don't want a group of 3. I want a group of 2. This is 2 to the second. Now, the question probably then is, what in the world am I supposed to do with this? These are not the same thing. So you're just going to take those two values, you're going to multiply them together, and you get 6. So you're going to rename this as 2 squared times 6. Okay, just stick with me. Just wait. 2 to the second is 4, correct? 4 times 6 is 24. We have just changed the name of 24. It is still 24. You just changed the name a little bit. Now, again, why did I just multiply those two together? Because 2 and 3 weren't in a group of 2. There's nothing else I can do to them. I still need my value to be 24. So if you have nothing else left, you multiply them together. So now we break it apart. And I'm going to break this apart into square root of 2 squared and the square root of 6. This is your property. This is one of those questions that we'll forget on the test and make a mess of it. It's the square root of 2 squared. You're squaring something and you decided, oh wait, I don't want to do that. I'm going to take the square root. What's the answer? 2. Square roots of 6. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Guess what? So we've got 32. Is 32 one of the numbers on your list? No. But 32 is even, so what can you start dividing by? 2. All right, half of 32. 16. All right, 16. Even. Divide by 2. You're left with? 8. Sweet, this keeps going on. 8 divided by 2 is? 4. 4 divided by 2 is?
2.
Then 2 divided by is 1. Okay. Now, yes, there are 5 2's. But because this is a square root, I don't want all 5 of the 2's. I just want 2 of them in a group. So here's a group of 2, and
Here's a group of 2.
here's another group of 2.
Then you have a stray.
And then you have a stray. I like that way that's referred to. So now when you rewrite this one underneath, this is 2 squared times 2 squared times 2. You still have to have all those values on the right represented under the square root because you still want the product of 32 to be your value. Okay? Now, you are not multiplying 2 things under the square root. There are 3 of them. So what? You just break them apart into all 3.
So why didn't you just do that to begin with?
Because you gotta break it down.
Yes?
Why didn't you do that to begin with?
Do what to begin with?
Break them all up.
Oh, instead of doing this step right here,
Yeah.
I'm showing you all the steps so that you can see where it came from. Yes, sir.
Did you find the 2 fours?
No. No. You're too far off. Hold on, hold on. All right, guys. Now, go back to this. What is the square root of 2 squared? 2. Square root of 2 squared is? What am I doing to those 2 2's? Yeah, they're getting multiplied. And then don't forget the square root of 2 that's out here as well. He's still part of your answer, so your final answer is?
4 square root of 2.
4 square roots of 2. That's your final answer.
On the homework of the last 4, I like